Hey ladies and gents, today we're going to be reviewing the high-grade Mazinger Infinity Black version. Now first, the few thoughts on this kit is I had hell trying to get the lighting right for this thing with this coating. As you can obviously see, it is a very glossy coating on this kit. But really it looks great. To a point, which we'll get into that a little bit more here after a minute. But let's get into this kit a little bit deeper and see what we might think about it. Now, before we move on to accessories, we'll give you a quick size comparison. Here we have the ARC 78 High Grade Revive, and then the other end of the spectrum, we have the Master Grade RX, the Origin version. And by the looks of it, it's pretty much just about the size, maybe a few millimeters shorter than the Master Grade, but just for a quick comparison of the size, since it states high grade for the Mazinger, but it doesn't state a scale. Now, onto accessories, and we'll start with the action base. It does, of course, come with the basic action base. I'm not sure which model this one is, but all the parts you'd expect with this. But it does come off of there we go. Its own little adapter molded in the runners for this kit. So, this is actually designed for the kit itself, so it's pretty secure and sturdy. I haven't had any issues with it so far. And another piece for the action base is a little unique is this one right here. This is used for when it's in its iconic flying position, which you'll see more of towards the end of the video when I put them in a few poses for y'all to look at. From there, we shall start with the backpack. Yeah, it has a little simple belt. This isn't hinged or anything. It's 3 separate pieces, the gold and 2 halves of the belt itself. They'll just kind of wrap around and peg into the backpack here. Backpack is, of course, in the same glossy black, and the gold injection here, it's actually pretty nice metallic gold injection look to it. And the only color correcting stickers we have for this kit, if I can get them off the desk here, are for the backpack itself. Just a couple of long black ones that go around the thrusters here, if you can see, and then 4 small black ones, 2 for each side on the fin here. These 2 little square spots on each side. So all in all, not too bad at all on that. Now we'll get into some of the more unique and fun stuff here. We'll yank an arm off of this fella. Let's take that one. Oh, yeah, he's going to take a nap for a moment. Now, of course, you do have the 2 sets of these. The blades that go on the forearms, you have 1 for each. And how they mount is simple enough. There's 2 panel on each side of the forearm. You just kind of get it off of there. And do be kind of gentle. On the other arm, I broke one of the pegs that hold these on off in the forearm, so not terrible issue. I can fix it, but still a pain. And all they'll simply do is shift up a little bit and leave open space there. There we go. Yeah, just do that on both sides. And that gives you the iconic flying punch. As you can see here, the lead removal on this is kind of a pain. It's darn near impossible with this gloss coat, which I tried multiple different ways of doing this, and that is one of the flaws of this kit. But once you have it on a shelf up there or whatever, you're not really going to notice them too terribly much. But moving on, it does have some effect parts. For the action base, you have the little adapter in there. You can put it like so. Simple enough for that flying punch. But also, seeing as how it won't look too good on a shelf with the unsightly nub sticking out there when it's in the flying punch. So you get 2 of these little pieces here, 1 for each arm, and they simply slot on so in the flying punch. Nice little deal there, so you don't have an unsightly peg sticking out of the end of his arm. And another gimmick I didn't realize this kit had is it has a Gatling guns underneath or in the elbow joints of the arm, which I thought was kind of neat. Cheesy but neat. But you get 2 of these adapters. They're pretty much like the other ones, except for they have a peg on the top here. They slot on just the same. And simple enough, you will just peg the upper arm on there, like that, and you got you some Gatling guns. But I thought that was kind of neat. Like I said, a bit cheesy, but it's pretty neat nonetheless, to be honest. And for the last few accessories on this kit, you do get a couple of alternate hands. Of course, you get the karate chop hand here. And both these alternate hands are going to be for the right arm. And of course, you get 2 closed fists for both arms with this kit as well. And then you also have an expressive hand here, which is always nice to have a little something extra for this. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot. The brains of the operation. The little core fighter, I guess, if you will. But simple. Oh, dear, I think he just crash landed. I'll find him later. But anyways, let's get on to the articulation here. We'll start from, of course, the head down and keep it nice and simple. Now the head for this guy, typical what you'd think of one of these kits, got a ball socket off in there. And then a hinge in the neck as well, so you get a little bit of a chicken neck look there. A good look up, and a pretty good look down, really. Pretty impressive. Now for the arms, don't get much in the way of up. That's as far up as you're going to get this fella, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. The shoulder armor does move independently, but that's not the issue of why this arm does not go very far up. It's the actual design of the hinge in here. And you can see there how much room you have for it to go up and down. So, well, this is not, that's the main issue for your arm restriction on this. You get, of course, upper arm rotation, lower arm, because this does, of course, just simply mount, peg, and hold. But one of the nice gimmicks about this kit is the forearm articulation. You see there, all you basically get is that kind of, not quite even really a 90-degree bend, but if you watch that armor piece right there, that plate, it will slowly fold in on the forearm and give you the rest of that bend, which is pretty nice and looks really cool, to be honest. I like how that gimmick works. That's one of the best gimmicks on this kit, at least when it comes to articulation. And as you straighten it out, it just pulls out and lines itself back up. Now for the wrist here, it's a wrist piece is separate, so you can kind of see it in there. But you do have a typical ball joint, which is really only gives you rotation at that point, a little bit of wiggle room. But the wrist does give you some flexion there. You got down, up, not so much, kind of gets it straight, but it gives you a fair amount down. For the torso here, you're not really going to have much in the way of a ab crunch or anything like that. Not much in the way of rotation. It's kind of blocked in the waist there, and the only movement you have is right here in the upper chest. The lower chest is just pegged in there. It just rotates a bit. Now, getting down here to the hips, you can see here there's this little piece of black armor here that's up on the attached to the hip directly. So trying to get that to move forward is pretty much a no-go there. But this does have a bit of a gimmick where the hips are independent of each other, and it'll drop down and hinge, which, like, in this position looks kind of weird, but it gives you that space you need for a pretty good kick. Not too bad there, really. Kind of sends it swinging out a little ways, but that's really not an issue. Oh, and while we got the leg up, pretty nice, no hollow points here. Nice detail on the bottom of the foot as well. Now, also, in the same turn, having the leg done that way gives you a nice back kick as well. Of course, there's no back skirt armor on this at all, so there's nothing there to get in the way to begin with. I'll leave that hinge down a little bit for right now, so I'll get to the knee bend. You have good rotation up top. Doesn't give you 360, but you really don't need 360 rotation. You're going to turn his leg backwards for a pose. Oh, Oh, and he will do the splits pretty much, if you're curious about that. Now the knee bend does leave something to be desired. It's not terrible. I mean, you can still get in some pretty nice poses, but yeah, not the greatest. Wish they had done, kind of the same gimmick as they did with the arm, where this armor plate right in through here would just kind of shift and slide down to the back of the calf as well. I don't know why they didn't do that. It would have made this kit so much neater to be able to tuck that leg all the way up to the back of the thigh there. And then for the foot, ball and socket, nothing special. You get side to side there, front, kind of toe up. That's, yeah, nothing there really. And foot articulation is pretty poor on this. All in all, I mean, the articulation ain't great. The forearms have that neat gimmick. That's about it. It's pretty basic on that. But we'll get this sucker up into some poses, and I'll give you my final thoughts of what I think of this kit. Alright, now as for my final thoughts for this kit, to start off with, it is about $45 USD. Just to start off with that. Now the finish on this kit, on all the plastic and everything, it is beautiful. But in turn, that comes with an issue when it comes to removing the nubs. Now if you happen to know of a way to remove these and keep it pretty clean and nice, please leave a comment down the bottom for me or anybody else that might be watching this video. I'll be curious about something like this, or might have another kit in mind that has a finish like this. The articulation, it's half. The hips and the forearms is pretty nice. It's pretty neat. Other than that, the articulation is pretty lacking. It has a fair amount of accessories, but would I pick up another one of these? I honestly couldn't tell you. I got this just because it kind of tickled my fancy. I want to try something different, so I thought, why the hell not? But for something different on the shelf, and plus if you're just into Mazinger and everything, this kit would be great for you. Like I said, but with the nub issue, don't worry about that if you got it up on the shelf. And if you're going to paint it, there's really nothing to worry about anyways. So all in all, it's an okay kit. It's up to you and your preference if you like it. That's what the reviews are for, so you can make your own decision of whether it's worth the money for you or not. But thank you for joining. Feel free to subscribe down below, and when the next video comes out, I'll let y'all know on Twitter. Follow me there on KyleTune1. Y'all take it easy.